We have, for example, we have a program where we bring urban kids from some of the cities out to our properties to see them, to some of them if they've never been out into the forest. And letting them get out there and really enjoy it is a really important thing to do. We also have bought properties that we have donated to local communities, and they have farms, they have community gardens, and opportunities for their residents to really get out and enjoy some of this. They don't have the ability to do this themselves, so having us um, come in and do this for them is really an important part of what makes New Jersey a great place to live.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, babies in their diapers, welcome to the Tiberius Show with your host, Tiberius Boy.
That's me, Tiberius.
And welcome to the Tiberius Show today. And I'm your host, Tiberius Boy. And as always, we're looking at various jobs and how they affect the world around us. Today's case is really interesting, because today we're talking about saving land and the environment. But wait, don't click away. This guy is not just someone hugging trees. This guy has helped protect over 30,000 acres of land, worked with thousands of volunteers, and helped preserve places like the Appalachian Trail. So do we really know what it takes to protect a plant and turn it into a career? Well, I think I have an idea. But you know what? Let's just talk to this guy and find out. Let me introduce our next guest, the one, the only, the amazing David Epstein.
Hello, Tiberius. Good to meet you.
Well, it's good to meet you too. Well, thank you for being on the show as well. Alright, so David, it says here that you work in land conservation in New Jersey. What type of land are we talking about? We're not talking about islands, are we?
We are not. We are talking about everything from big, vast forests to mountains to ball fields and farms. We preserve all kinds of different kinds of land that end up as county parks, state parks. We preserve part of the Appalachian Trail and national wildlife refuges, drinking water supplies, the whole gamut.
Alright, so you're the president of the Land Conservancy in New Jersey. So can you explain to my listeners exactly what is land conservation?
Absolutely. So land conservation is taking privately owned land and permanently preserving it to make it part of a park system, to preserve farmland. You know, New Jersey is the Garden State, so preserving farmland so we have food to eat in the future is a really important and wonderful thing. And making sure that we have places to recreate in the great outdoors so that kids aren't just stuck on their phones, but have a chance to get outside in the woods.
So what does it mean to preserve land?
So we add land to state parks and to county parks. That's preserved. The Land Conservancy also owns land ourselves that we make sure to bring people out onto so that they can enjoy it. We have 2 farms that we own ourselves, and we make sure that we grow food that is produced and then sold in urban areas. So in food deserts where people don't really have enough nice organic food to eat.
So when did you first know that you wanted to work in environmental conservation?
So it was first in college that I decided this was something that seemed like a really exciting thing to do. I had a couple of my own businesses when I was young, landscaping and doing other things. I always was a person that I couldn't see myself sitting in an office in a corporate setting. So I really enjoyed the idea of being outside. I enjoyed the idea of preserving some of the forests that I grew up in. When I was a kid, a lot of the places that we used to build forts and tree houses and that kind of stuff were all developed into housing develops because New Jersey is the most densely developed state in the country. So preserving some of this land, making sure that it's still available for people to run around on and for wildlife is really important.
Well, do you think your job would look the way it actually does?
Oh, no. When I started, I was the first employee hired in 1994. Just to give you a sense, because you have all this wonderful technology, we had borrowed one computer. It had 249 kilobytes of memory, and it didn't really seem to me like we were going to be able to do anything. I had an intern in 1995, and he said, you should develop a website. And I said, well, we're just working in one county. Why do we need a website? This is when the internet was really just getting started. So he developed one for us, and a young intern from Australia saw our website and said, I'm planning to move to New Jersey. Would you hire me as an intern? So it proved to be the technology and all of it proved really fascinating early on.
So, what surprised you the most once you started doing this work?
So what surprised me was how much other people really got excited about it. And we have so many members and donors and volunteers who just really love being involved in this work. And they come out on weekends, they come out to events that we put on. That has really surprised me. I wasn't sure we would have so many supporters as we do right now.
All right, so David, you've helped protect over 30,000 acres of land. How much space is 30,000 acres?
So I know you like math. So I will give you two examples. One, the island of Manhattan. If any of you or your listeners have been there, it is twice the size of the island of Manhattan. That's how big 30,000 acres is. If you've been to Disney World, it's bigger than Disney World by about 10%. So it's close to half as big as Orlando, for example.
Ah. All right, so you've worked on hundreds of projects. How do you even begin something like that?
I'm sorry, how do you
Begin something like that.
begin something like that? Well, we have people who want to donate their land. We have people who are selling it for development, and we have to negotiate with them and get them to understand how important this is. We don't need more houses in New Jersey. We need more forests. We need more farms. So trying to convince those people is a big part of my job, is talking to landowners, finding them, and trying to convince them that what we're doing is the best ultimate way for their land to end up.
So what's one project that really stands out to you that made a big difference?
So we were preserving land on the border of New York and New Jersey. There's a big state park in New York, and we wanted to create a hiking trail that went all the way through from New Jersey to the Hudson River through to New York. And we found a piece of property that was about to be auctioned, and we were friendly with a local Indian tribe. And they told us that this property was the most spiritually important property for them, that their ancestors had been on it for thousands of years. So it took us a couple of years, but we were able to stop the property from being auctioned off, and we purchased it and gave it to this tribe, and they can now have their ceremonies on there into the future. And that was really a really good feeling to be able to do that.
All right, so the Land Conservancy purchases a lot of land and protects it, but it also provides land to cities and towns. Can you explain how that works?
Sure. So we have, for example, we have a program where we bring urban kids from some of the cities out to our properties to see them, to some of them if they've never been out into the forest. And letting them get out there and really enjoy it is a really important thing to do. We also have bought properties that we have donated to local communities, and they have farms, they have community gardens and opportunities for their residents to really get out and enjoy some of this. They don't have the ability to do this themselves. So having us come in and do this for them is really an important part of what makes New Jersey a great place to live.
All right, so how do you make sure that the city does not build apartments on the land that they get from you?
So we work closely with them and we help them raise money to build, in some cases, playgrounds, in some cases, trails. In some cases, we help them set up these community gardens where their residents can come out and have a little plot of land and grow their own vegetables, which otherwise they wouldn't be able to do in these cities. We also, on one of the farms that we own, we lease it to a nonprofit organization that grows food, and they sell it in this city at half price to people who are on food stamps. So they're able to buy nice fresh vegetables, which are not generally available to them at a very, very reasonable price.
So why should teens listening today care about protecting land?
Well, if you want to have the opportunity to see great wildlife, to see bears, to see bobcats and beautiful birds, they need habitat. And if you want the opportunity to be able to take hikes and to swim in clean water, New Jersey gets almost 2/3 of its drinking water from streams and rivers that produce groundwater. We don't have wells very much in New Jersey, unlike Florida. So being able to protect these is really critical for the future of the state. I mean, without clean water, we're really not going to have a lot of opportunities to have a very good society going forward.
So what's the most misunderstood part about your work?
I think the most misunderstood part is that it takes a lot of money to do this. And so we're constantly raising money and asking people to donate their time and their money. And a lot of people, landowners, when they preserve their property, sometimes we ask them to also make a financial donation. And I think a lot of times they don't understand that and say, well, if I did all this nice work preserving my land, why do you need money? We need money to take care of these properties so that we don't have invasive plant species taking them over, and we can maintain the trails and make sure that they're a great place for people to enjoy into the future.
Well, David, if a teenager said, I want to help the environment, what would you tell them to do first?
So the easiest way to get involved is to volunteer, to find an organization that you like and get outside with them. We on the property I mentioned that we gave to the Indian tribe, there was a tremendous amount of dumping there. And we had 10 different volunteer days where we had people come out. We removed 1,000 tires. We moved 9 old cars, and lots of people from 8-year-old to 80-year-old were out with us moving this stuff out and learning about how all this works, and being outside and meeting other people and getting involved is a really wonderful feeling for the people who do this. And I would urge everybody to try that out.
Well, this seems like a good time to take a quick commercial break. Let's hear a word from our sponsors.
So you want to make an ad for your company, right?
Yeah, Tiberius, you want to help me?
Okay, so what's the name of the company?
PPWND.
PP what?
Professional Pressure Washing and Detailing.
So you like clean driveways?
Yeah, like that. We pressure wash commercial buildings and semi-truck and trailers.
So how would someone get a hold of you?
They can visit my site at ppwnd.com or call me at 407-900-7793.
So I just tell them to call you at 407-900-7793 or visit ppwnd.com?
Yeah, Tiberius, you got it.
Cut! That's a wrap! Just use that.
Oak Ridge Gun Range is a family-oriented shooting range that has been in business for over 30 years. They specialize in basic firearm training and offer numerous services such as consignments, gun trades, gunsmithing, and concealed weapon classes. I even got my training for gun safety at Oak Ridge Gun Range. Great customer service, and firearm safety is what they do best. So find out more at oakridgegunrange.com.
And we're back here talking with David Epstein, president of the Land Conservancy of New Jersey and professional land saver. So, you've worked with about 9,000 volunteers. How do you get that many people involved?
So we do a number of things. One, we work with a number of big corporations, and they will take a day and bring all of their employees out, and we put them to work building trails and taking out invasive plants, doing cleanups on our streams. That has really been helpful. We have a big list of people who just like to volunteer and come out on the weekends and help us out, sometimes in really bad weather. I mean, you have hurricanes, we have 15-degree days. And so getting people out is not always easy, but we have been doing it for a long time, and people absolutely just love to get out into the outdoors and help.
So what do volunteers actually do when they help out?
So volunteers come out and they will take shovels and help us dig out different debris that people have dumped. New Jersey has been developed for more than 400 years, and people have left garbage in a lot of really bad places, and we remove that. They help us build trails. Sometimes that involves putting down wood chips. Sometimes it means cutting trees. We put up deer exclosure fences. We have too many deer in New Jersey, and we put up fences to keep them out so they don't eat all of the vegetation. That's a big problem by us. So they help us build fences, build trails, all sorts of things that make these environments a little bit better place. They help dig out our community gardens. They help make sure the water gets turned on in the spring. All sorts of great things like that.
Well, you've helped grow an environmental scholarship program. Why is it important to support students?
Well, they are, like you, our future. And if anybody has paid attention, the cost of college has skyrocketed. And we want to help build the next group of future environmental leaders. So one of the very first programs the Land Conservancy had was to start a scholarship program. And that was back in 1983, if you can believe that.
So
and
what
I was
kind
hired.
of students usually apply for those scholarships?
So these are New Jersey residents, and they have to be studying in an environmental field, a very broad category. When I started, we were giving away one $4,000 scholarship, and now this year we'll give away 10 $10,000 scholarships. And the idea is to help the people who are going to become the next leaders in the environmental field, help them get the education they need so that they'll be able to do this really, really important work into the future.
Well, what advice would you give teens who want to stand out?
So I think that it's really important that you get involved early, become a volunteer, become knowledgeable, get a good education, get involved with local organizations that are doing things that you believe in. Everybody gets excited about different things. Some people want to be involved in, I remember we lived in Florida for a while, so some people got involved in helping the sea turtles to get out of their little nests and into the water and make sure that the foxes didn't eat the sea turtles. There's a whole bunch of different kinds of things that you can volunteer for, but the whole idea is to make a little bit of a commitment of time and learn a little bit about the things that you really want to do, and then get put to work. And though from those things, all sorts of great careers can come next.
So you helped install a geothermal energy system. Can you explain to my listeners exactly what this is and how you use it?
Sure. So this is something that really wouldn't work in Florida, but it works up by us. We dug a well, and it's very interesting because about 5 feet below the surface of the ground, the water and the earth stay the same temperature, about 55 degrees year round. So we dug a well, and the well produces this cool water. It goes through a system in our building, and it acts to make our air conditioning system in the summer go, and it heats the office that we're in down to about 25 degrees through the winter. So it reduces the amount of oil that we have to use to heat the house and the electricity that we have to use to run our air conditioning systems in the summer.
Do you think renewable energy is something to teach and learn more about?
I think it is the future, and I think that knowing more about it is really an important thing. And when all of you grow up, some point you're going to buy a house, and having a solar system on top of the house will save you money, and it will help conserve electricity. Right now, the cost of electricity is rising really fast in a lot of places. If you're not paying rent or you're not paying for your house, you may not notice that, but when you start doing that, you will definitely notice it. And the nice thing about having solar panels on your house is whatever you will replace the electricity that you were paying for, and so the cost is going to remain the same year after year, and not do what the electric rates are doing right now, which is rising dramatically every year. Save a lot of money.
Well, you've also helped provide land to grow food for people in need. How do you ensure that this stays for this purpose long after you're gone?
So we lease our farm to another nonprofit organization that farms it. We charge them several thousand pounds of fresh food, which they give to us, and we donate to local food pantries. We help make sure that the fence around the farm continues to be in working order. We've helped them buy a tractor. We've helped them buy sheds and things to store the food. It's wonderful when we can bring these young kids out from urban areas because they get to see the farm, and this is where the food that they're eating a lot of times in their neighborhood is coming from. So it's great to come out and see this for kids who rarely travel, rarely get out of the city, rarely eat fresh food. And the group that grows this food sets up little farm stands throughout the city. And these kids later run into the farm stand and say, hey, I was out at that farm. I think this is really a wonderful thing. We have easements on all the properties that we preserve, and an easement ensures that the property will be preserved into the future. It is one of the many rights that you purchase when you purchase a piece of property, and we separate that right from the other rights so that nobody can ever develop it into the future.
Well, can you actually make a living doing this kind of work?
You can. I was the first employee hired at the Land Conservancy in 1994, and today we have 16 employees, and we have 12 interns who are a little older than you, but they're college kids and graduate school kids, and they are not making a living, but they're making some extra money to help pay for their education. But our employees make a very good living, and we try to pay everybody a reasonable amount. And there are 35 land trusts in New Jersey. I think Florida has at least that number. So yes, there are a lot of jobs out there doing this work. One of the things we have people do is help us raise money. We pay people to learn how to raise money and to help us to get the money we need to do this great thing. And it's a great skill to have, is to be able to raise money, because you can do it for all sorts of different organizations.
So why would a kid listening today want to grow up and do your job?
Well, if you love the outdoors, like I do, it's great to be able to have an excuse to get out there all the time. If you really feel that it's important that there are places where our wildlife can grow, where we can have hiking trails, where we can get out. We've even preserved ball fields. And, if you like to play baseball, there might be a housing development that pops up on that baseball lot you used to play on. But if we preserve it, if it becomes a town park, then it will always be there for people into the future. So if you really want to be able to go outdoors and do things, we have got to make sure we preserve this land because, Florida, you've seen it, I'm sure, how quick the development comes in there and how the ability to have houses almost everywhere will take over just about everything unless we preserve it.
Well, on that note, let's take another quick break to pay some bills.
The Tiberius Show would like to thank one of their dedicated sponsors, Custom Designs Orlando. These guys are on Mills Avenue and do all sorts of stuff, ranging from photo ID badges, engraved signs, custom braille ADA signs, vinyl lettering to trophies and awards. The cool part about Custom Designs is they can ship products all over the United States. You can reach them at 407-898-0373 and tell them that
Tiberius
sent you.
Over 40 years, Lighthouse Central Florida has provided education, independent life skills, and job training to thousands of Central Floridians who live with blindness or any degree of vision loss. Whether it's picking out clothes in the morning or just moving around your community and serving Orange, Seminole, and Osceola counties, contact Lighthouse Central Florida at 407-898-2483 or visit them online at lighthousecfl.org.
And we're back here with David Epstein, environmental leader, land protector, and someone who's literally helping save the planet. So, what's one skill every teen should start learning right now?
The skill that I think is most important is to be able to get along with other people and to be able to convince them of what you think is important, to help educate them, to help talk in a way that people want to listen and people are willing to learn. You've probably noticed that a lot of the adults around nowadays talk at each other and don't really listen to each other. But being able to listen, being able to hear what other people have to say, and being able to understand what they want and what they need, and these are critical skills in being able to convince people to have them do what you want them to do.
So what's the biggest lesson your career has taught you?
My biggest lesson is that to never give up. That no matter how bad things look, no matter how difficult things look ahead, that if you believe in doing these things, you can make them work, even though other people think it's crazy. And being able to go forward and be positive and to continue to convince other people that these are great things to do. It's a great skill, it's a great challenge, and that has been what I've found.
Well, what have you learned about yourself during your career that you wish you knew earlier?
Well, I wish I were more patient earlier. I wish I got along with people better earlier. I wish I didn't lose my temper earlier. These are all things that come with a little experience and are really important because sometimes it feels really good to get angry, but nobody else really likes to look at that. Nobody else really likes to listen to that. So being able to be a little self-contained and not really care as much about what other people think, but know what it is that you want to do and keep finding ways to make it work. Those are the key things that I wish I knew more as a younger person.
If you could go back in time and give your 15-year-old self advice, what would you say?
Well, I wish I had listened to other people a little better than I did. I definitely thought I knew a lot more than other people knew. I wish I was a little more patient at 15 than I was at the time. And I wish I spent a little more time focused on learning. I wasn't much of a student, and sitting in school was very difficult for me. I wanted to be out with my friends. I wanted to be playing sports. I wanted to be doing a lot of other things. And I wish I had developed a little more discipline to be to help become more knowledgeable into the future.
Well, are you optimistic about the future of this planet?
I'm very optimistic because I see young people like you who care a lot about what they're doing and who have a broader look at what's going on in the world than people did at my age. We didn't have the internet when I was growing up. So, you only learned about things from a newspaper, which was already over a day old by the time you read it. Now we get to read about things in real time. We get to see them in real time. So it's much easier to get a feel for what's going on in the world. And I think that knowledge is power, and understanding better what's going on can help people get more involved to help make decisions that they think are important, where when we were young, we didn't know what was going on nearly as well.
Well, David, what's the best advice that you've ever received, and who gave it to you?
So the best advice I ever received, I was working in Palm Beach County, Florida, and I had the chance to meet David Brower, who was a very famous conservationist, and he told me that working for government wasn't really a great way to get things done, and I really wanted to make a difference. I really wanted to get things done. And he convinced me that the best way to do that is to be out in a nonprofit, out in where I had more freedom to do the things that I like to do. I had somebody tell me when I got up to the Land Conservancy in 1994 that the best way to work with donors was to go out and play golf with them. And I hate golf. Just can't stand that game. So it turns out that the donors that I like to interact with love going out and kayaking with me and hiking with me and mountain climbing with me. And that has ended up being a great match because I enjoy doing it, and people like to be involved with other people who like what they're doing.
Well, do you play any video games? And if so, what's your favorite one?
I do not play any video games. I'm
Not
too
even on
busy
your
going
phone?
outside. I apologize for that. I know that that is a big deal for younger people, but it is not a big deal for
Not
me.
even on your phone?
Nope, I don't do it. I don't really watch much television. I read books. I barely use a tablet to read books.
What's your
Much
favorite book to
more.
read?
I like novels. I read so much at work every day that I don't want to read scientific things. I just want to read for fun when I have the chance. But no video games. No, I'm not on my phone very much. It was not that long ago that I didn't even have a phone. But I like to keep things simpler.
And now it's time for the hard questions. So what was the biggest mistake that you've ever made? And how did it change you as a person?
The biggest mistake that I have made was thinking small and not going for it and not being as aggressive as I could and playing it safe. Our organization has done its best when we've thought big and we've really taken risks and tried to do some really exciting things. And doing that sometimes is scary, and sometimes it requires a lot more work than everybody's used to. So I wish we had done a little more of that a little earlier, because now we're seeing such amazing results by asking people for more and trying to accomplish things that people thought were impossible.
Well, is there anything else you think my listeners should know about you and what you do?
So I got my start doing land conservation in the Sunshine State in Florida. I was working with Palm Beach County and the Conservation Fund, preserving land in Palm Beach County. And most of the undeveloped properties down there that are now preserved, little county parks, some state parks, a lot of that we helped to preserve back in the early 1990s, if that is even believable and something that you can relate to. It was so long ago. But, I think that this work really hits home for people, because everybody likes to go outside. Everybody likes to go in the woods. Some people like to watch birds. Other people like wildlife. Some people like to swim. We can't do all that if we don't have preserved land. And so I think that making sure that people don't take it for granted, that they don't think that these things just happen. It is people working hard and making it possible, making these opportunities possible for people. That's what I wish more people would pay attention to.
Well, do you have a website or a social media that your listeners can follow, to learn more about you and your work?
Sure. It's tlc-nj.org, thelandconservancy.org.
And what is that one question that you think I forgot to ask you?
Well, I think that it is really important that people who don't know about these things have the curiosity to learn about them, to ask questions. You will not see anything about land conservation on video games, but being able to do all the different things, whether it's inside or outside, those are really the critical things. Those, I wish that I played a couple video games, but I also wish the people who played all the video games got outside and climbed mountains with me. Finding that balance, I think, is really what's most important in life and most important about preserving the environment, so we have a good environment going forward, and that all of you have the opportunities that I had when I was a kid.
Well, thank you so much, David, for being my special guest. Can you stick around for Math Corners?
Sure.
Aw, Dad, my computer's slow again and I can't play my games.
Call Your Computer Solutions today, and we will scan for viruses and clean that computer up remotely and make it fast again. Our phone number is 407-826-0810.
Thanks, Dad. My computer's fast again. Now I can do my homework. Thanks for calling Your Computer Solutions at 407-826-0810.
Tiberius' favorite subject, it's Math Corners!
Now it's time for Math Corners. Thank you so much, David, for helping me with Math Corners. This week, we're about one-step word problems. My dad is always good at finding new problems for me to solve, and today, we're going to talk about buying land, which actually connects to what you do a little, so you might be good at this one. Alright, so land conservation, he wants to buy a rectangular piece of land to preserve it. The land is 500 feet long and 300 feet wide. The land costs $25,000 per acre. Now, the question is, what is the total area of the land, and how many acres is that, and how much will it cost?
I sure hope you're going to help me out with this.
I will. Alright, so first, this is a real world problem because you can't just buy land without knowing how big it is. That would be a very expensive mistake. So, let's start with the basics. To find the area of a rectangle, we multiply length times width. So, we take the 500 feet and times it by 300 feet. That gives us about 150,000 square feet. Well, that was pretty easy. But wait, people don't usually talk in square feet. They're talking acres. So it's like square feet in acres. Here's the key equation. 1 acre equals 43,560 square feet. Now we take our 150,000 square feet, divide that by that number, and that equals, oh, this is pretty hard. Carry the 3.44 acres. So that means that's a lot of, this piece of land is about 3.4 acres. But wait, we're not done yet. We have to figure out the cost. So the island costs $25,000 per acre. So we take the 3.44 acres and multiply by 25,000, and we get $86,000. So the total cost of this land would be about $86,000. And that's a lot of money, but also a lot of land being protected. So David, do you think most people realize how much math goes into something like buying and protecting land?
No, I don't think so, but I think you have a future in this.
Well, my teachers always say that I'll use math every day. How else do you use math in your work?
So we have to survey every piece of property we buy, and the survey comes up with the length and width of the property. We have to figure out from there how to go through the woods and put up little markers on the trees so people know that it's our property and how long this is. We also use spreadsheets to track the expenses that we have with every project we do, paying our contractors and paying the landowner, paying the taxes. So we use, like you, math every day.
Well, thank you so much, David, for your help with Math Corners. And now it's time for the Heart of a Lion. As you know, we talk about the qualities of living by the Heart of a Lion, which stands for leadership, integrity, obedience, and nobility. Well, this week, I want to talk about integrity. For me, I think integrity is doing what is right, even when no one else is looking. The qualities of integrity is honesty, sincerity, truthfulness, and fairness. So this week, I actually saw something happen at the dollar store. And yes, I was there because, snacks and energy drinks, yeah. Well, there was a kid walking around with their parent, and the kid picked something up and tried to sneak it through their pocket when they thought no one was looking, but the parent saw it. Instead of ignoring it, they stopped right there and said, nope, we don't do that. Made the kid take it out, walk back, put it where it belonged, and I could tell the kid didn't want to do it, but they still did. Well, this is showing integrity because, the kid didn't want to do it, but, the parent didn't try to embarrass the kid. The kid learned that doing the right thing matters, even in small moments. And, I was just standing there like, this just got serious at a dollar store. And the cool part is, no one clapped, no one gave him a prize, most didn't even notice. But that's what integrity is, doing the right thing, even when no one's watching. Well, David, do you have an example of integrity that you saw this week?
Sure. We have people who have given us a lot of money to do certain projects. So we have to be very forthright and upfront about how we spend the money and make sure that we do it exactly how we told them we would do it, to make sure that we do exactly what we said we would do. Because in the end, the name of our organization and the integrity we have is everything we have. It's the same for an individual. If people don't trust you, you don't really have much of anything you're going to be able to do. So we value that and we practice it every day.
Well, we should always try to be lion strong in everything we do, shouldn't we?
Absolutely.
And that's our show, folks. I want to thank the one, the only, the amazing David Epstein for being on my show. It has been so much fun talking with you today. I think we learned a lot about your work with the Land Conservancy of New Jersey.
Thank you, Tiberius.
No problem. Do you mind giving your social media and website again?
TLC-NJ.org. The Land Conservancy of New Jersey.org. O-R-G.
Also, you can find me on Facebook and Instagram at The Tiberius Show, and I would like to thank the WPR 1400 AM, Kansas 98, Soul Radio 24/7, Easy Way TV, and all the other stations that air my show. And please be sure to visit The Tiberius Show on YouTube and hit that subscribe button. And so, David, are you subscribed yet?
I am not subscribed yet.
Alright. Well, Kyler Williams, 2BM, says Tiberius' parents forces in the shower. Well, gee, thanks, Kyler. I think every parent tries to ensure their kids learn how to be clean and groom themselves. I really hope so. But as you all can see, I do really read the real comments from my videos. And be sure to leave a comment on my videos, and I might even mention yours at the end of the show. And also, be sure to listen to us next time I read your show with your host, Tiberius Boy.